Hello and welcome to our program Sky's the Limit, and I'm your host Sharmeen Ali. Today we have for you a very special guest who is our visitor right now from Canada, who's also from Pakistan, Pakistani origin actually. Her name is Sara Bokhari, and she's the former candidate of record for Member of Parliament in the Canadian Parliament, and she's one of the very few Muslim women who ran for these elections in 2019 in Canada. She's also an academic, a professor. She's in the legal field also. She's also a women's rights activist, a journalist, and also a mom. So we're going to talk to Ms. Sara Bokhari right now about her work, her career, and a lot of different issues that are of interest to her, and also how does she manage to balance all of this great work she does with her family and having a child and everything like that. So I'd like to welcome now on our program Sara Bokhari. Thank you so much for being with us today, Sara. It's a pleasure to have you here, and welcome to Pakistan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum to you and to everyone who is listening. Thank you very much for having me on your wonderful show, and it is very nostalgic that I'm back at Pakistan television. It's an honor that I'm here, and it's an honor that I am visiting my original country with a lot of respect, and everyone has showered me with a lot of love. And at the get-go, I would also like to thank Prime Minister Imran Khan. Prime Minister Imran Khan, he is a blessing for Pakistan. Pakistanis are very fortunate to have him as the Prime Minister. He has done a lot of work for modernizing Pakistan, for Pakistan's development. He's taken very strategic steps to make Pakistan one of the strongest nations in this region. For example, he's done a lot of work for the women empowerment, to uplift the unprivileged, uplift the marginalized poor sections of the society, as well as I was hearing a lot of stuff on children's rights. And I'm seeing how modernized and developed Pakistan is, and I think recently he was in Gwadar and uplifting those very marginalized communities. Really proud of Prime Minister Imran Khan to be working at the helm of affairs in Pakistan. Actually, I remember, Sharmeen, when I was in school, St. Mary's Convent, Multan, me and my friends, we raised funds for Shaukat Khanum Memorial. So I really feel proud of it. So.
That's great. That's wonderful. And now you get to see what he's doing over here as Prime Minister also. So, Sara, let's begin with now, you're a politician in Canada, amongst many other hats that you wear. However, you are originally from Pakistan, from Multan. So tell us a little bit about your family in Multan, and your grandfather was a mayor of Multan, etc. You came from a landowning kind of a background. And tell us about your journey, how you ended up from Multan to, well, let's just start with your family over there.
Such a good question in the way that's going to take me down memory lane. I belong to the landed aristocracy in Multan, the Bokharis of Multan. My great-grandfather, Sayyid Khudabakhsh Bokhari, in the late 1800s did a lot of developmental work in Multan, the major city of Multan. He created a lot of schools, particularly for women at that time, girl child, and a lot of mosques. At that time, mosques were used for education, for educational purposes, for uplifting and really, enhancing yourselves. And right now, we have the Multan, I think Multan Kent Eidgah, which is comprised of acres, so he donated it way back.
Okay.
And then his son, my grandfather, Sayyid Muhammad Yusuf Bokhari, he was the mayor of Multan, and in I believe 1900s, like mid 1900s, 1930s, and he really empowered his 4 daughters, my paternal aunts. And at that time, in the 1940s, my paternal aunts, Pupos, they went to educate themselves at Kinnaid College, Lahore College of Women, and all of them, most of them are masters. Like my first aunt was, who could be 100 years old now. She's not alive anymore. She was a master's in Equestrian Sciences. This is way back in 1940s. So I come from a household where women are really empowered, and I've been very lucky that even belonging to the feudal landlord setup, It is the environment in our house that really empowered me, that really pushed me and gave me the impetus to, go for higher education, go and empower myself. My mother is retired as a professor of psychology. She did her master's in 1967 from Punjab University, and I think she is also a very strong hand in my upbringing. And my father, who Bokhari, again, a father of all 4 girls, and instead of crying that he didn't have a son, he just gave us the power. Go and change the world. And he used to say, if you want to change the world, change yourself. Like I know it's a Gandhi's saying, but he used to say it all the time. And he used to say, take the first step. Nothing is difficult. Take the first step, take the second step, and you will achieve your goal. The idea is to just put your goals right at the top.
Right.
Always create higher standards for yourself.
Right.
So I feel very lucky to be raised in an environment where women were not downgraded. There was equality all around, and always, focused on achieving goals. And I think apart from this, my educational institutions have really given me the power, starting from St. Mary's Convent School in Multan, of course a Catholic Christian school, where I was taught by Christian nuns. There are a huge source of confidence and self-learning, self-reflection. And Quaid-e-Azam University, I did my...
Just to add over here, like a convent education has a lot of character building and grooming going on as part of the education, right? So tell us a little bit about that. How did that shape you as a person?
Oh, that's lovely to answer, because I'm always looking for opportunities to talk about Sister Mary and Sister Benedicta, who were 2 major sources of inspiration in my life. And we used to have a social behavior period in the day-long school hours. And in the social behavior, we were taught humanism, we were taught justice, we were taught how to create change in the world.
Really?
Because
okay.
we
It's
are
at a young
privileged.
age.
Whoever is privileged, like it's usually the privileged class who go to the to convents, because it's a private school. So the idea was to really contour your personality in a way that you are a positive change in the world.
Right.
You are a source of peace, and you're away from conflict. I still remember Sister Mary used to say that good will prevail and evil will be defeated. So
inshallah.
that is
Right.
the motto in my life, that good will always prevail and evil will be defeated.
Yeah, and there's a lot of topics to be spoken about along those lines, which we will get into later on. But now you emphasize a lot about the influence Quaid-e-Azam University had on your life, and what certain obstacles and hurdles you had to overcome over there, and what you learned and how you grew as a person. So tell us a bit about what you were studying in Quaid-e-Azam University and how that experience was.
Absolutely, but I'd like to draw parallels. I did my last master's from University of Toronto in political science, and I love University of Toronto as well, but I tell all my friends and my peers that what Quaid-e-Azam University gave me, no other institution could.
And why is that?
Because it, when I was very young, I was, I think, in my 20s when I got into Master's International Relations. And those are the creative years and development stages, and whoever puts an impact on you is indelible.
And were you sent by your family to be on your own in the hostel and stuff?
I was actually living in the hostel,
Okay.
absolutely. It was very tough. I was a spoiled brat of my family, and living in the hostel was very tricky and very challenging. But again, once you have that will and determination that you will succeed, all the odds are gone. So, once you put your focus that you have to, be a success and you have to win, I think all other things are just a matter of the past. And no, Quaid-e-Azam University is a huge source of my inspiration, my success, my outlook on the world. And I had amazing professors and amazing class fellows. Peers have an impact on you, and it's very competitive. And I think that spirit of competition is also carved me into what I am today.
Right. And then you were mentioning when we earlier spoke about your experience at Quaid-e-Azam University, you learned a lot there, but you also had to struggle a bit, being, like you said, a spoiled brat coming from a privileged family. So tell us a little bit about that. How did that feel, and how did you cope with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very shy to, I was reluctant to actually sit in the buses in the beginning. And, you know, there's amazing university bus, but I'm like, I don't want to sit in the buses. But slowly and steadily, I got myself acquainted. And I remember I got an internship at the news, the Jung, I think right on GT Road or Maru Road. And I didn't have a car at that time. And I had to take, you know, those, right at the huts. There are huts, like a nice eating place at Quaid-e-Azam University. And those dibbas, they used to call them dibbas or cookery. And I used to get them for, I think, 3-4 rupees to go to Appara. And from Appara, I used to get that typical bus. And it was very hard for me to get into the bus.
Because you were not used to this.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I struggled, and then I overcame that. But even when I look back, I'm like, wow, how could I do that? Because, you know, given the pros and cons, it was tough at that time. But I completed my internship at the news, and I learned a lot from the news as well. Yeah, I really want to give it credit. I learned a lot of editing and writing.
And you've done a little, quite a bit of work in media in Pakistan as well. So
absolutely, I'm here back to PTV. Thanks to PTV, I was actually inducted in the 6 p.m. English news to do the background voice, background report. Yeah, I've been doing that. I was too shy to come on the TV. I was given lots of opportunities and auditions to come and read the 6 p.m. news, but I couldn't do it. And I kept on doing, I think for a good 3 years, background English report for 6 p.m. news. Yeah, and I'm so happy that I'm back at PTV, and it's you know, bringing me all the good memories, and I'm feeling very young, actually.
Yeah, that's wonderful to have you back, actually. And okay, so then you went on to Canada after you finished your degree at Quaid-e-Azam University, which was in international relations.
Yeah, and an MPhil in Defense and Strategic Studies.
MPhil also you did in Quaid-e-Azam University in Defense and Strategic Studies, and then you ended up going to Canada.
Yeah, I taught at Fatma Jinnah Women University for some time. I think I gave a few lectures at Quaid-e-Azam University.
Right.
And I had a chance, you know, to go to Canada. My husband's family is there, and, you know, born and bred in Canada. And yeah, and I did finish my third master's in political science. I got my child, and I was like, you know, at that time I was just taking care of my child, you know, the way it is.
Yes, exactly.
And focus on my child. But thank God, luckily I finished my master's, and then started teaching at various colleges like Humber College, George Brown College, Centennial College, University of Ontario Institute of Technology, and then I jumped into politics.
Right. So you've been basically teaching for almost 2 decades now. So you've been in academics for a long time. So what brought that shift over into politics? This is very interesting, because there you have this comfortable life where you've got your teaching timings with your family and all of that. Why jump into politics, which is a totally different arena for which you need a totally different set of skills and everything else? So.
Yeah, so getting a master's from University of Toronto in political science and years of experience in, you know, academia and, you know, writing papers, reading papers at very many forums of high caliber, I was like, it is time now to participate in real politics rather than just teaching it. Do something, you know, do something tangible. And instead of teaching how policies are made, how about make policies? How about make laws and rules for the, you know, the larger population? So that was the idea, and I think I met a lot of very good people and politicians in Canada, and particularly my husband has been a strong force for me to join politics in Canada. And I thought, you know, yeah, it would be a good jump from teaching politics now, you know, get into the real realm of, you know, making laws and policies and, you know, legislate.
Okay, and then you, in your politics, you joined the Conservative Party. So why the Conservative Party? What was appealing there? You have to naturally do a lot of work for the party in order to be selected for a seat, a ticket to go and run in the elections. So how did your involvement with the Conservative Party start, and for what reason?
Yes, I volunteered a lot with the party. Because being, coming from Pakistan, I wanted to get myself assimilated and, get myself acquainted with what Canada is all about. And there was an opportunity, and I just started volunteering. And volunteering involved a lot of door knocking. So I brushed onto my English speaking skills, and I talked to a lot of people, talking to what are the issues they're facing, how can they be solved. So that really opened a window of knowledge, and that really gave me an idea of how to do public dealing, people to people contact, and how to listen. What I learned from volunteering in the beginning is how to listen to the problems of the people, because before that my profession was academia, which is I'm a professor at the podium and I'm talking and talking and talking. But being in politics gave me a chance to listen to people, and I've become a very good listener. So yeah, it was years of volunteer work with the Conservative Party of Canada, and then I got a chance to because of my I think they considered my academic background, my TV show. I used to host my own TV show in Canada called Power Dilemma.
And
with Sarah Bokhari.
that's a Canadian political program.
Yeah, hardcore Canadian politics. And I think that paved my way into, and I've been very sincere to the cause, to the conservative cause. And I've been very sincere listening to people. What are their worries? See, as a politician, I really want to listen, and I really want to take it out from the people. What do they want? How could I solve their problems? For example, education. There are students who want their loans to be taken off. There are people like new immigrants, they don't have jobs. There are women who are, who are highly educated, but they can't find a job because they want to take care of their children. So I would like to bring in certain legislation which are really women-centric and which are very immigrant-centric as well. Because once immigrants go to Canada, they have to really work hard and upgrade their skills. And it's hard for them to get jobs right away.
Right.
So
immigration right now is a huge topic, even when we look at the United States and all, and in Canada also. And this is one of your main issues of interest. And you're also studying law right now, and in order to facilitate this work of yours better. So tell us a little bit more about the issues of immigrants in Canada, specifically from the angle of Pakistan and Canadian relations. We see a lot of students nowadays who want to go and study in Canada, for example. We know that they get sort of dates for the interviews a year later, and they've been accepted to university now in this coming fall, and they can't get their visa because their interview's months away and things like that. So what exactly are you working on to make life easier for immigrants? Just tell us a little bit about that.
We're looking at forging very strong and very positive relations with Pakistan. And why is that so? Because Canada is open for immigration. Canada is open for talent from Pakistan. For example, talk about students, talk about skilled workers, talk about people in trade, talk about investor visa. It's huge. I'll expand a little more on it. The Canadian Express Entry Visa is open to skilled workers, and various provinces in Canada, they have their own express entry. So that increases the acceptability of immigrants into Canada. Rather than just arriving in Ontario, as if you're a skilled worker with certain skills, you can go to other provinces like Saskatoon or Alberta or British Columbia.
Where they're needed, where that skill is required.
Exactly. So there's a huge palette of immigration programs in various provinces of Canada under the Canadian Express Entry program.
Okay.
And now coming to the students, we have a student direct stream, which really makes it easy for the Pakistani student to come and join various colleges in Canada. And after 2 years of being a student, once you have your work experience as well, and you have spent 2 years as a student, you can apply for permanent residency, which means you're very near to citizenship, because permanent residency has a lot of rights, which are just like being a citizen.
This is after you complete your studies?
Yes. So within those 2 years, for example, your coursework is for 4 years. So after you've spent 2 years, and you are also working, you get Canadian work experience, you can apply for a permanent residency.
Okay.
Yeah, so which is making it very easy for students from Pakistan, and they can get admission in various colleges, for example, Niagara College, Humber College, where I've been teaching, Fanshawe College in London, Ontario. There's so many. There's Centennial College, George Brown College in Toronto.
Right.
There's so many colleges where, and any students listening, there's huge opportunity for you in Canada under Student Direct Stream. And I wish you all the best. Because of COVID, it's a backlog.
Yeah.
But for Pakistani students, huge opportunity. And this is where we are really trying to tap in, the best human capital into Canada. And this is where we are forging very strong positive relations. And I believe in the international arena, Pakistan and Canada can be very good friends. If Pakistan has to look west, I'm making a statement, if Pakistan has to look west, look at Canada.
Right. And
soft power, as a welfare state, and our Pakistani Prime Minister, Honorable Imran Khan, has also said that he wants to make Pakistan into a welfare state. So look onto Canada. Amazing system, free healthcare. No matter, God forbid, whatever disease you have, it's free. From A to Z, it's free. Free education for your children from grade 1 or even kindergarten till grade 12.
And what about university? Because that's a problem that American students face a lot, that they have to pay a huge amount of loans and all for university. What is it like in Canada?
This was a very important question which came up when I was running for member of the parliament. And we are tackling with the idea that student loans should be slashed off or should be taken off. So this is something which I could tackle if I become the member of parliament, whenever I run elections for next, and I can do my own private member's bill to take off student loans.
Okay.
Which are it is in the talks. It is one of the platforms of upcoming elections.
Right. Okay. So now I'd just like to further elaborate a bit about the immigrants and issues of people from foreign origin settled in Canada. How are things over there in light of right now? We see this huge wave of Islamophobia, and we just saw the recent incident in London and in Canada. And it was very tragic, the whole family that was run down by terrorists, white extremist terrorists. And the whole, all of Pakistan, the whole world was kind of shaken up by that. And it's happening all over the world, it's not just Canada. So how is the government there tackling these kind of issues so they don't sort of spiral out of control, they don't continue, so that the perception against Muslims isn't wrong? And how is the Muslim Pakistani community or overall Muslim community sort of contributing to help that situation?
It's a very good question, Charmaine. First of all, I would like to again pay my condolences to the grieving family. It was a very, very tragic incident. But let me be clear, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms elaborately explains that everyone in Canada, no matter which color, creed, or religion you are, you have a right to do whatever you want. Whatever your religion asks you, you can do that. Whatever clothes you can wear, you can do that. It is a land of free. It is a ticket to heaven. This is what I say. You live in Canada, it's a ticket to heaven. This was an isolated incident, and there were so many vigils there, and the majority of Canadians love Muslims. And not only Muslim from Pakistan, but Muslims all around the world. Muslims make the second largest demographic in the province of Ontario. And our premier in Ontario is Doug Ford, who is a very good friend, and he has said it outright always that there is no zero tolerance for Islamophobia. There is zero tolerance for racism. against Muslim community, as well as various parties in Canada, the party in power as well as the opposition. They are all unified in slashing or in confronting Islamophobia against the Islamic communities in Canada. Because when you think about Canada, because I've been living there for a long time, it's a land of tolerance. It's a land of love and peace, equality, and neighbor helping the other neighbor. For example, on Eid, I send biryani to all my neighborhood, and then on Christmas I get cookies or just bags of Lindt chocolate. I love chocolate. So this is how it could be further dismantled, the attitude, because I believe that if we meet with communities and if other communities meet with the Muslim community and invite them over tea, invite them over dinner, and just create love. It's all about confidence building measures. It's all about attending each other's religious places, I believe. Why
True.
not?
Absolutely.
Understand where is the other person coming from. That would really take off any barriers and hurdles in understanding the other person's ideology or religion or creed. Because
Right.
again, pointing out the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms is an awesome charter for human dignity, for human respect. And Canada is a land of peace and love, and I wish all communities exist peacefully in Canada.
Right, and all these points that you're making, they're the key really towards interfaith harmony anywhere in the world, including in Pakistan, and all, it's needed everywhere right now as you see things
Absolutely,
become
interfaith dialogue, peaceful coexistence, like all of them. I won't say they're needed in Canada at this time, but this was an isolated incident, and everyone was united. All the parties in Canada were united to face this incident, and to give message to Muslims, all kind of Muslims, like all from all countries, that there is zero tolerance for Islamophobia.
Right, okay. So now tell us about your foundation, which is called Strong Moms and Empowered Women, and this focuses on women influencers in society. Just elaborate a little bit about your work on that, because that's very interesting. Strong moms and empowered women, and obviously strong moms can create empowered women as well. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, so Strong Moms and Empowered Women came about by me and a group of my very good friends in Canada. I launched it with a group of my other friends at Queen's Park, which is Ontario Legislative Assembly, and the Premier, Doug Ford, also gave us a message on launching of this organization. So the mandate or the mission of the organization is how to bring up women who have faced hurdles in their lives and how they are now influencers in society. There's so many women who I know faced for example, domestic violence, and now they are in position of power, and they are changing the entire system by using or focusing on what they experience. When it was launched, we got a few, our panelists included women in law, women in law enforcement, and women in politics, and women had to tell their stories, like how they brought in change. How are they the movers and shakers in society? And why I brought the idea of mom, because I became a mom, at a later age in my life, because I was studying all my life. And when I became a mom, it was an amazing experience, and my life just halted. Like, I was a very professional woman, and I didn't want to get married, and I just wanted to focus on my career. But when I became a mom, it was just like, I have the entire world and I don't want to do anything. And for me to juggle motherhood and my professional life was very tough. So I believe, due respect to all women, but I think it's very hard for mothers to juggle their motherhood and their family life and their professional life. That is why I wanted to include that Strong Moms and Empowered Women idea, that, a mother is kind of you're procreating. You are creating an entire human being. You're disciplining that human being. You are bringing that human being with good qualities and confidence, and it takes a lot. You're a mother, it takes a lot on a mother.
Absolutely, yes. And,
Yeah.
and
So
really a mother has to be strong herself in order to raise strong children, in order for the children to be confident, they need to see a mother who's confident and empowered as well, so that she can guide them properly.
Yeah, and I would also like to start, inshallah, some work of strong moms, empowered women in Pakistan, inshallah. And I really want to focus on the girl child, educating girl child on various aspects of life.
And what would be the nature of your work? What would you like to do over here in Pakistan? Like, how would you want to bring that about? Because naturally that is something that is still developing in Pakistan. That is sort of an idea and a mindset that's still developing, because it is a very conservative developing country. So there's a lot of work to be done on that front in Pakistan. So how do you see yourself tackling this?
Education. Education. If we start educating the girl child and her mother, I think we can create a big change. And there's so many good people in Pakistan. Like, I don't like when people say that Pakistan is behind. I think there's a lot of I'm not getting the word. There's so much inspiration, and there's a will. There's a will present in people to bring in change. So strong moms, empowered women will educate women and girl child in the areas of health. Particularly health is very important. There's food insecurity, yes. How to eradicate food insecurity, how to educate a woman for her rights. Whatever the rights are, even if she is going to go, even if she's not working in the field, she is going to be a mom in the house. How can then she raise her own children?
Right.
How can she take care of her husband and her in-laws? Because we have a very conservative set, which is not a bad thing at all. I'm from the Conservative Party. I'm a very conservative person. And I believe we just need education, whether women decide to stay home or whether women decide to be in any profession.
Right.
And educated women will bring change in her household and then in the profession.
Absolutely.
Once she is aware of, the pros and cons, once she is aware of what is lacking and how can she bring in the change.
Right, absolutely. And you're talking about educating the girl child. How about, I personally feel that adult literacy is also very important in Pakistan, because you have a lot of parents who are totally illiterate trying to educate children. So if there was some form of adult literacy classes going on, maybe they exist, but you don't see them to be very widespread, then they're also able to sort of better raise their families. Just because they missed out on an education, a woman got married, she was made to drop out of school after 6th grade, 7th grade, doesn't mean she can't go and become literate at the age of 30 or 40, while she's raised her family and all that. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, we will start with, the younger girls, and then, way up, whoever wants to join it.
Yeah.
But, you have a very good point, but this is the, how I plan and how I think we will start, and then we can, take it up to the other levels. But
yes, because
basically female education.
Yeah, because when we see our women domestic workers, the only thing they're really lacking, they work so hard and they're honest and they know how, they can do much more than we can. They have a lot more energy and strength and all. We get tired. But however, the only thing they're lacking is they're illiterate. And that is the only thing holding them back from getting maybe 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees more in their salary, which would make a huge difference. And the ones who come to work, who have a degree or a metric or FSC degree or something, they automatically have a higher salary. So that would really make a huge difference. It's just one of my opinions, and I think that would be...
Yeah. Very good point. Yeah.
And now, you've also been working towards track 2 diplomacy between India and Pakistan. You've also attended the International School of Disarmament and Research on Conflict. You've got conflict resolution in that field. You've got a lot of published work as well. So tell us a little bit about your work in that field.
Yeah, this is way back, and because my master's from Quaid-e-Azam University in International Relations and my MPhil in Defense and Strategic Studies, I had the honor to represent Pakistan at various forums and talk about peace in the region and talk about confidence building measures at various dimensions, and how can we create this region in a very peaceful region where all the countries in the region can look for progress and development. Because once there's conflict, you can't really focus on progress and development. Apart from the hardcore issues.
Right.
So then I really worked on bringing the warring parties to the talking table, and I think we achieved a little bit. But then I totally took a detour, or I moved forward in my life and changed my field. But I'm very proud of again Quaid-e-Azam University and my track to diplomacy initiatives. I learned a lot. As a woman from Pakistan, I learned a lot.
Right.
Because women, one thing I really want to make a point is it's very hard for women to make their mark. It is very hard. No matter if you get confidence from your parents or from your teachers, when you go out, you're a woman, it is, whether it's Pakistan or whether it's abroad, women are still looking for parity. In the West, they're looking for gender parity in pay. Yeah. Because women are paid less in the U.S. particularly, and a lot of politicians are working on creating that gender parity in pay scale. Women have to work twice compared to men. Firstly, they're moms, and as I mentioned, strong moms empower women. They have to, anywhere they have to juggle with a lot of things, because men, they just come home, they don't participate in household chores. It's a woman's job to take care of the the food on the table and take care of the babies, and it has to be spick and span and clean. So, and then they have to go out and work.
Yeah, and I think in all fairness to women, and no offense at all to the male members of our society, but I think that the process of childbirth and having children is kind of underrated and undervalued, and the toll it takes to a woman's body and her health, because there's life before bearing a child and then there's life after bearing a child, where you're having to face 10 million different health issues at the same time.
Absolutely.
Aches and pains and things which men will not understand, but a woman has to then bear with it for the rest of her life. Your body changes, everything, your energy levels change, hormonal fluctuations, so there's so many things that aren't even considered.
Absolutely.
About what women go through, and especially when they're back at the workplace and all. There's so many changes they've had to go through, massive ones.
I'm so glad that you're bringing it up, because no one brings it up because of the shame factor.
Yeah.
Because we are not allowed to talk about these issues.
Right.
We are told to suck it up, and we are not allowed to share our pain with anyone else, because it's, I think, a taboo thing. But I'm so glad that you brought it up.
Yeah, because it's in Pakistan and abroad, it's everywhere.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
We should be talking about it more, and we should be in group of strong women. And I also believe that strong women should help other women to become stronger.
Absolutely.
Women should help each other to be stronger.
Yes, absolutely. And then you have issues like postpartum depression, which are never spoken about, hardly ever. In the West, it is spoken about to quite an extent, but in Pakistan, you don't hear about it. And there must be so many women going through that, and then having to go straight back to work and things. Women-specific issues are certain things, I think, that are sort of underappreciated everywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, Sharmeen, you're bringing it up. And we can have, so many talks on this very part.
So now going back to your work, we talked about your published work. You've also been a speaker at the Harvard Project for Asia and International Relations, at the Monk Center as well. I mean, these are all very prestigious institutions where you've been a speaker. So tell us about that. What were the topics that were at the heart of these conferences and engagements?
So yeah, basically the work I did on the peace in the region, I talked about that. Basically conflict resolution and at these various institutions. And then I think I talked about Canadian politics, how to get immigrants more into the political arena, how to make Canadian politics more inclusive. Because as you can see, it's very hard for a Muslim brown woman to make her part or to participate in Canadian politics.
Yeah.
So I really, inspire, and I want to inspire, and I want more Muslim women or women from other ethnicities to join Canadian politics, because I want to make a point here that Canada is a parliamentary democracy, It is one of the champions in democracy.
Yeah.
And there are no ifs and buts in Canada. If you want to do something, you can achieve it. There is, you know, the hurdles are everywhere, but in a Canadian political or social system, if you have the right tools, if you're rightly educated, if you have the right attitude, you can make it up. You can participate in whatever you want. You want to build your business, you can be a thriving business person. You want to work in government, you can do that. Because there, you know, there is a very less, how you say, the reference system. If you have the worth, if you have the qualities and the abilities and the capacities and the skills, you can make your mark in the Canadian system.
And it's inclusive.
Very inclusive. Very inclusive, and I also always say that for you know, for any would-be immigrants from Pakistan, that make Canada your landing pad, because it is one of the most inclusive and tolerant countries for Muslims.
Right.
For example, we have mosques, not one mosque or a small little mosque in a city. We have many mosques in entire Canada. For example, in Ontario, we have very many mosques, like tens of mosques. And during Ramadan, I believe, of 2019, they were doing the azan openly. Because usually you have to get a license, you're not allowed to do it openly. So it was very spine-tingling for me that I could hear the sound of azan in Canada.
Wow.
It was such a beautiful feeling. And then during Ramadan, what we do is we go in the mosque, we sit on the floor, and we open our iftar. Like, for Muslims, it's one of the best countries to get the immigration and, live in Canada. Because Canada is looking for more people to help in its economy. It's a huge country, huge geographic land. And why not that it's inviting the best people from all the countries to participate in its economy.
And does it also have one of those issues of developed countries of an aging population? And
Exactly, baby boomers, yes.
Okay.
So because the baby boomers are aging now, they're looking for talented immigrants and from Pakistan and elsewhere to participate in its economy. And I would say that to any would be a potential people who are looking to migrate to any country, make Canada your landing pad, or to invest, to flourish, to grow their families, because it is one of the best tolerant, inclusive country in the world.
Right, that's the impression one gets. And now one thing I wanted to bring up is that you see a huge disparity between the participation of, say, women, Muslim women, in North American politics in general, whereas you see in, say, Britain, there's so many of them, and Muslim women, women of Pakistani origin and all. Why is there such a huge disparity? Why aren't more Muslim women going into politics in Canada, for example, or women of Pakistani origin? What's the reason? You have second, third generation people living there as well, as you do in England. So why do you see such a dearth of participation? You're one of them, but there could be, why are there so few?
So this is what I was going to answer. I'm here. I'm here. I'm an immigrant to Canada, and I'm participating in politics. I think it believes in what you want from your life. I wanted to create change, and I wanted to be in politics since I was in grade 10, and that is why I, sought the line of, politics and IR and my entire path determines that my end goal will be to be a member of the parliament and bring in change by creating certain legislation. I think it has to do a lot with what you want to do in your life. And I can't speak for other people, but yeah, it is whatever you want to do in life, and it is how you gear your goals towards. That determines your destiny.
So it's like an individual choice.
I think it's an individual choice, yeah.
Right.
Because I can't speak on all those people who have migrated, but I know what I wanted to do in life, and I know what I wanted from my life.
One thing that stands out to me about you is that you started out as an academic. You were studying international relations, politics, then you became a professor, then you switched gears and went into politics. Now you're also studying law. So what I really appreciate about that is that as a woman, as a mother, or even as any individual, you can switch gears, you can change your career path at any age. You don't have to become, say, a doctor at the age of 20-something, like, you know, our system here or maybe in other parts of the world does that. And then you have to do that for the rest of your life. You can actually change when you think that something else is better for you or more appealing for you, right?
Absolutely, Charmaine. I believe that not only cats, but human beings have more than 10 lives. You know, there are ups and downs in life. There are times when you think you're utter failure. So instead of just going down into depression, which is a huge issue, mental health issues, huge, whenever you feel or face a failure, you just have to get up in life and start something anew. You don't have to just focus on your failure or your misgivings. Focus on what you have, and that is how, you know, you have gratitude in life. So once you have an attitude of gratitude and you're very thankful for whatever qualities you have, even the worst failure, you will be able to get up in life and start something anew. So, you know, my journey, it's like, I think, similar to any woman who wants to bring in change, is, you know, if you have failures, you get up and start something new.
And then if you see something that you want to make a difference in, you can always enter that field and start doing that work. You don't have to be confounded to one particular field.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. In Canada or in the West, I know a family where the person was, I think, a school principal. School principals make a lot of money. He was a school principal, and right at 50, he just wanted to change a career. And at 50 years of age, he sat for his MCAT. For 4 years, he did his medical school. He became an MD after 4 years. And at 55, he was a doctor. At you know, at a very good hospital. So it's all about the force in you who is looking for a change. The force in you that you are the most important creation of Allah or God. Once you know your own worth, I think sky is the limit.
Right, and then you follow that calling of yours, exactly. And a very good analogy you made, that the sky
of your
is the
show
limit.
as well, sky
Exactly,
is the limit.
yeah.
Ms., you know, Allah has, God has created us in His own reflection, right? We are the best creation, Ashraful Makhlukat. And if we don't understand our worth, who is going to understand our worth? If we're going to put ourselves down, the other people would definitely put us down. So we have to love ourselves in order to achieve something.
So, Sarah, as we come to the end of our program, we've had such a lovely discussion about all the things that you've achieved in your life and what you continue to do, and you have all these future plans and everything. Who gives you this inspiration to do all of this and to achieve all of this, and you just keep going non-stop?
Very good question, and I keep reflecting on. I believe Allama Iqbal and his poetry has been very a strong force in my life, and of course Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and his vision, and how he carved a nation after a lot of opposition, and how he never gave up. And I'd like to mention a little sher of Allama Iqbal. Nahi tera nasheman kasre sultani ke gumbat par, tu shahi hai basera kar pahadon ki chattanon par. Like that is, I believe, a message for everyone in the world, that never stop working hard, go and achieve your goals, and always look higher and higher. Never be stagnant in your life.
Right,
You can
absolutely.
change your field of profession. You can change your life. The power is within you. Start believing in yourself. Start loving yourself, no matter what color, creed, whatever you are, whoever you are. Start believing in yourself and start loving yourself, and go for higher goals.
That's a wonderful message, and I think you wanted to, there was a song also that you were interested in sharing with our viewers. What was that?
Really? You want me to sing?
Sure, why not?
An academic singing, but no, this is a off the camera, behind the cameras, we were talking about it. It's a song by Nayara Noor, a renowned Pakistani singer, and I love singing that song. I'm just going to offer you, if you could allow me, just two lines.
Sure.
ऐ जज़्बाए दिल गर मैं चाहूँ हर चीज़ मुकाबिल आ जाए मंजिल के लिए दो गाम चलूं और सामने मंजिल आ जाए है जज्बाए दिल गर मैं चाहूं.
That was sung beautifully. Thank you so much. And the message behind this?
So the message behind it for all your viewers and for everyone listening to the show is, again, same thing. The force is within you, whether you're a woman or you're a man or you don't want to, tell about your gender. The power is within you. You can change the world by looking into yourself, by reflecting into yourself, and by looking for higher goals. The force is within you, the jazba is within you, the inspiration is within you. Reflect who you are, thank for whatever capabilities you have, but never stop. Keep going forward because sky is the limit.
Right, fabulous. Thank you so much. What an inspiring message. Thank you so much, Sarah Bokhari, for being on our program today, and best of luck in the future with your work in law as well as, with your teaching and definitely in politics. We hope that you can make the difference that you're setting out to make.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Best of luck, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you very, Sharmeen. Thank you very much, Sharmeen. Thank you.
Okay, so that's all for the program today. Sky is the limit. We had with us Sarah Bokhari, who you met. Now you've gotten to know she's a politician in Canada, an academic, journalist, women's rights activist, so many different hats, and a mom as well. And you can see the final message that she gave to our viewers was that you can really do anything with the fire that burns within you, with your passion, and believe in yourself, love yourself, know your self-worth, and know that you can make a difference. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time, same day, same place at Sky's the Limit. And that's bye-bye for me for now.